We don't even know if he ever got out of the halfway house. Gully, if you had a son at this age, would you can encourage him to be a square? I don't think none of my offspring would turn out to be a square. I'm going to just keep it real and shit. I don't. I got an 8-year-old, and he exhibited a whole lot of flavor and style to be a little boy and shit. You know what I'm saying? They got me, and he got me in him. So I don't think I'm capable of producing any squares and shit. It depends on what you mean by that. If you mean a kid that got good grades and shit like that, if he had good grades, he would only be taken after me. I had good grades and shit. I was a scholar athlete. So I be telling, I try to, he will appreciate you later on in his life. I treated my dad like that when I was younger. I'm the type of nigga you can't apologize. You can't apologize to me. The side that you choose, you know how when it comes to parenting and shit, you know, some of them like will choose their mother or choose to go the way of their mother or whatever was said by the mother. They embrace that. If you do, you bought that. You should hold that. You know what I'm saying? You can't come back to me at a later date and apologize or nothing like that. I don't want to hear it. That's just me. It might be a flaw that I have, that I'm unforgiving and shit, but I'm my father's son, and it's zero tolerance. I actually think boys respect what he do. He got a youth group of some, I think it's called Boys to Men or some shit, and he got a group of boys that he deal with. He asked me, could I come and speak to him? I said, nah, I ain't got nothing to say to them niggas. I said, I'll give you some information and you can relay it to him or something like that. But I ain't got nothing to say to no young nigga for real. I don't. Balance, order, structure. I live my life the same way. Gully just hit me like a ton of bricks. Did you know Rayful Edmond personally? He said young niggas burn. I don't be wanting them niggas around me, man. I get the creeps when certain young niggas come around. Them niggas be wearing ski masks in the summertime. Hated those sports. So they was used to my dominance. It wasn't for niggas to see me in movies and shit like that. They wasn't surprised and shit. Like, they like, that's Mill, man. Like, you can't be surprised. You know what I'm saying? Andrew Malone, hey homie, I appreciate your content for real. It's definitely appreciated and motivating. Always remind me of the shit I be on. Thank you. A alike, B alike, C alike. He said these dudes be wearing all black in the summer. Yeah. I keep hearing whether it's quarterbacks or Media TV, what up? He said, Gully, I still watch your Boy to a Man series. Thank you. Zip with the Drip. Zip with the Drip says, goodbye and good riddance to Rayful Edmond. I was just watching your King Tut joint. You know that I'm the media platform that they talking about in that paperwork, right? He mentioned me in his appeal. If that was appeal papers, whatever type of document that was, he was talking about me. He said the podcast interviews, Dexter admitted to the robbery and all of that type of shit. I wish I would have knew you was here. I would have had you up here so we could discuss that. All that telling just to come home and pass away. So he said, "You watching the NBA Cup tonight?" Man, I ain't been watching the NBA in the last couple of days and shit. Jamil Smith, peace. What you think about LeBron to the Warriors? I don't know what to think about LeBron James right now and shit. He's been inactive. He's taking some personal time off. I don't know what the fuck that means. That means that he's sabotaging or, he biting a bullet on the season for the Lakers. The Lakers won last night, though. Anthony Davis had 41. Nobody wasn't even checking for dude since he came home. He seemed to come home and keep a low profile and shit. Like, he stayed away from the cameras. Hey, he helped a lot of families and hurt a lot of families. What to say about his legacy? Mac said another Alpo move. You know what? It's funny that you said that because when they said he died, I said he faked it. He's fake. He faked it. He's fake. He faked it to go. And this could be true.
Mm-hmm.
He could be faking it
to
go back anonymous. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Because he might have told on them Colombian niggas and shit. You know what I'm saying? So he could have, I can't exist out here. He could have faked it. Never know. He said, that's possible. Rayful is alive like Alpo. I don't believe it. He looked healthy.
Exactly. Exactly.
He did look healthy and shit. He looked proud to be free.
Mm-hmm.
Give it a couple of days and shit. You know what I'm saying? He said it ain't no might if he definitely told on them Colombians. That's probably something to fear for your life. They hit back.
For sure.
From the pics you seen, who threw it on better, him or Alpo? I liked Alpo's Dapper Dan shit, but Poe went to DC and picked up some fashion shit too.
Mm-hmm.
The DC niggas in the 80s was throwing it on.
DMV, baby.
Like a motherfucker. I heard that Diddy and them got that Versace and Coogee shit from DC when he went to college, when he went to Howard University. I heard that from somewhere. DC throw it on. They do. You look at old Sean Branch pictures and shit like that. They throw it on.
Mm-hmm.
He told on Griselda's sons. Now they want to make Jay guilty by association. I heard Jay-Z said he wasn't friends with Puff. I heard he said he wasn't friends with Puff.
Yeah, let me build on that. Thanks for giving us our props. I was just actually looking at a viral picture that I took back in the day. We was at one of the Go-Go's, I believe, or some kind of event. I'm not sure what it was. Let me actually go to that picture. Yeah, but we definitely did it big with the fashion. I mean, that was our thing. Let's just say this. The 80s was abnormal because it was really abnormal to see kids that was under 20 driving better cars than your teachers, your parents, your grandparents. It was just abnormal. The 80s was abnormal in itself. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, it was just real abnormal. I tell the story how in 1980 I was 10 years old in my apartment building, 1011. We moved there from southeast on the Anacostia side. I lived in Parkland. I went to Malcolm X Elementary, you know what I'm saying? And we moved on the southeast side of the Navy Yard. And our building 1011 where we lived at by the corner yellow store right across the street, which I later found out my relative on my father's side owned that store. So I used to could go in there as a shorty and get candy and soda and chips and just walk up out that joint, right? And so I had a little juice, if you will, right? And but I was 5 years old when we moved in that building. So we talking 1975. By 1980 into 81, 82, that's when the whole crack era started going into effect from what I can remember. Um, People that went to work every day, people that were, you know, prominent people, we in the hood, but we still had prominent people in the hood that went to work, took care of their family, and it was just like any other neighborhood. You had the working class people, you had the folks on welfare living off the system. It was a whole gumbo, you know what I'm saying? And by 82, so I'm 12 years old at this point, I see the shift in these same people. The people started not going to work. They were hanging out in the building, around the building, on the corners, because now they freebasing. They getting hooked on the crack rock, and starting to look like, just letting themselves go. They wasn't bathing. They wasn't changing their clothes. And the building started getting bad because the hustlers, the young hustlers, became like, they were, when I look back, they became monsters at the end of the day. I mean, I didn't realize that then, but these were my friends. People I done played ball with, went to school with, and so forth. But wherever they were getting the crack from, the package, whoever was the plug that was dropping the drugs off in our neighborhood, these youngins was getting rich, walking around with 5,000 in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? 500. Next thing I know, they pulling up in all kind of Beamers and Benz and Porsches, and like, it was like, okay, did somebody just drop a money truck off in this joint and I missed it? Where all this money coming from, right? So I'm 12, so I'm kind of naive, but you gonna learn quick. Cause that's one thing about the hood. You gonna learn your environment real quick. You grow up real quick in the hood. You don't have no choice. Because if you don't, you fool. So with that being said, uh, you know, uh, we lived on 5 floors in my building. I lived on the third floor. So you had a crew that was in the front of the building that was working, shaking out. You had a crew on the back side and on the other sides of the building. So it was 4 crews. And then you had people in the building individually on each floor. So you ain't even had to come outside if you didn't want to go outside to buy any work. You could just go knock on somebody's door who you knew had it. Now, everybody getting money. Now the competition started. you know, jokers start, lacing their girlfriends up. So they going shopping. The girls looking fly now, wearing expensive hairdos, expensive pocketbooks, expensive clothes. So now the guys are in competition with each other. So that's where the flexing started. Who got the better car? Who got the better girl? Who got the better girls? Now, now the competition get raised to a level that, dudes fighting over the same girl because he hitting all the girls and the girl get mad and like, oh, so you gonna cheat on me? Okay, I'm gonna go and mess with the dude around the corner. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, we all live in the same building or around the same area. So let me say this: a lot of women was getting dudes killed because they will go out of the neighborhood and bring guys in the neighborhood, and that was a death trap. You know what I'm saying? You know, everybody was territorial. You know what I'm saying? You don't come in nobody's hood. And then you coming through there with your nice car, you papered up, you looking like money, and okay, dudes gonna let you come through to scope you, but then they gonna get at you. So that was a lot going on. And so now dudes from other neighborhoods coming around shooting at dudes. And then okay, now dudes going on a mission. All right, we need to get some get back where these dudes is from. You know what I'm saying? And now the battery started with the women, whoever brought these dudes around. Now somebody done smack these chicks out and beat them down who's related to somebody that's getting money. So now the internal war started. Oh, that was my folks. You put hands on my folks. You got to pay for that. So it was a variations of how our area in the building that I lived in, that was a great building, clean in 1975, but by 82, that joint started coming down it started going on the downside. It started declining because of what I just said, right? So with that being said, now the building become a death trap. They start busting out the lights in the building. So therefore, the maintenance men was scared to come in the building to empty the trash. So now the trash building up in the incinerators. It went from every week that they were coming to once a month to them jokers didn't even come in there until you had to call downtown and say, why they not coming in to get the trash? So real shit. These jokers to come get the trash out of the building, they had to call the police to position on each floor to clear the incinerator from the fifth floor to the, and that would be one, two, that would be up to 3 months. They would let 3 months of trash fill up in that incinerator to the point on each floor the trash is protruding out the incinerator into the little lobby area. So that breeded rodents, okay? Rats, mice, cockroaches, roaches, and whatever the fuck. So that's what I remember of the crack era. You know what I'm saying? Me and my sister used to hate coming home because our grandmother up the street on 7th Street, which was Ellen Wilson. We lived in Arthur Capers. Uh, my grandmother lived in the house. It was still house, a public housing, but she lived in the house. And we used to hate coming home. We used to hate coming home to that building. And my mother did her best to move up out of there. And we couldn't get out of there until I was about 15 years old. You know what I'm saying? So we had to be there like another 3 years dealing with all that. Me and my sister used to come home from my grandmother's house when my mother got home from work. The trash was so piled up. We was like Carl Lewis and Jackie John and Kersey. Me and my sister Mika, we used to hold hands and look at each other. You ready? You ready? And we would hurdle the trash to get to outside of when we come up the steps in the lobby area. It was a gang of trash outside by the incinerator. So whoever, God bless her soul or his soul, used to come out there and try to sweep the trash to the wall so people can come by, but still it was piled up. So me and my sister, we used to jump the trash to get to the other side where our door was at. So when you come up the steps, you had the lobby area and then you had the back end where our door was at, where we lived at. So to avoid the trash, we could come up the steps. But we had the damn junkies all sleep on the steps, standing up behind the door, shooting up, and man, it was crazy. But this was our norm. This was our norm, man, straight up, you know. So, you know, so you really didn't want to take the steps, especially at night when you couldn't see nothing. It was crazy, you know. Uh, then one of the girls on the second floor told me, I remember her brother, I ain't gonna call his name, because he was a heavy dude, you know, from our building. And I had beef with him at some point later on down the line when we moved from there. You know, he tried to play me. You know, we was known for gambling as well. So we used to gamble. That's when we moved up there near my grandmother, like 3 years after 2012. 1982. So we moved like 1985 up to 7th Street where my grandmother lived at. My mother, uh, managed to get us a public housing house, and we was like George and Wheezy moving on up. So, so 7th Street and Cape was, I'm between two hoods where I lived at and where I currently live, but I was already between two hoods because my grandmother lived up Ellen Wilson, which is 7th Street. That's where we identify Ellen Wilson. And but the minute I moved up there, this one dude tried to play me like, you ain't from our neighborhood no more. You from here. So we in a crap game one night. And you know, and what happened? The dude threw a sever. He crapped out. And it was under a dude's foot. So I'm trying to collect my money. I said, oh, 7. So he tried to beef with me, talking about why you open your mouth. He didn't know what it was. He could have, said shoot it over. Like, man, you lost, right? Mind you, I know this dude. I done grew up with him, so I ain't even think he would carry it like that. But he a different dude now. I'm different, and we done, I ain't been living down Arthur Capers for 3 years, So now in that 3 years, people change. So, I'm out there with my crew. He up on my turf now. You know what I'm saying? Since I done moved away, you up on my turf because 7th Street had some vicious gamblers up there. You know what I'm saying? And, I was part of the gambling crew. You know what I'm saying? I tell people when I went to Spingon, you know, my way of hustling was to gamble the hustlers and take their money, because that's what we mastered up at 7th Street. So, So everybody had their way of hustling and their form of hustling. You were actually on the street, doing your thing, or you was a stick up kid, or you was a gambler. So I fell in with the gamblers and the party goers, because, I would come to school fresh from the money that I used to win from school. Them jokers couldn't gamble at the school, you know. We would go in the bathroom or after school or lunchtime, and I'll come in the game with a hot $50 and leave that junk with $300. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, anyway, the dude saw that my crew was out there and he woofing and he was getting ready to get stomped out at the end of the day. So he said, I'll be back. You better not be here when I get back. I like, man, whatever, bro. Now mind you, that joker did come back and he was strapped. But he didn't see me because you know why? I was a dude that went to school and I was an athlete. So I say this to say, luckily it got late. I had homework to do because it was like around this time of the year where it get dark early. So this happened around 8. So around 10, I'm looking at my watch. I'm like, I got to bust a move. I got to talk to my girls before I go to sleep. Got to bang out the homework because you had to keep your grades up to play ball. I played baseball. You know what I'm saying? And, so I was gone. The dude came back. And then he had a chick with him too. A girl we grew up with. Why the chick come knock on my door talking like you coming outside? Like, nah, I'm good. Out the blue. Now, I'm glad the chick wasn't my type. She was like a tomboy type when we grew up, as we were growing up. So years later, she all, looking sexy or whatever, but I still remember the tomboy in her. Yeah, bump how you look now, but you still that chick that was a tomboy. You wasn't attractive to me. So I'm glad I wasn't on the, a tip like, what you knocking on my door for? What's up? Come on in for a minute. You know what I'm saying? So I'm glad I wasn't on that tip. And then my mom's was home too. So that wasn't going to happen. But, you know, I probably could have snuck her in for probably an hour or two because she was asleep, But I say that to say she was trying to lure me outside. And once I got outside, that joker probably was somewhere laying low or trying to lure me back to where the crap game was. Because we used to have all night crap games, because that's how much money dudes was getting like that. I seen a dude that got broke gambling and was selling and, you know, as quick as he was losing money, he was getting right back. And we were down capers, Like I said, we would go different places to have big crack games, You had to come in the game with $500, you know what I'm saying? And it'd be about $20,000 out there among everybody, you know what I'm saying? So it was strong like that in DC. So DC just didn't have killers, hustlers. We had vicious gamblers and elite party goers. Anywhere the party was, we got fresh and geared up. We will always be fly going to a go-go because you meeting girls. You got the honeys coming from Virginia, Maryland, and then when people came to DC that was visiting from New York and Philly, wherever the hell, They always wanted to go to the go-go because that was what was popping here in DC. Then we got so strong enjoying life like we was enjoying, we would just hear about parties or just show up. So like I said, I laughed when I saw this movie called The Wedding Crashers. I say, yo, that was us. We was the party crashers. Because, you know, I tell my son, watch House Party. That's us in the 80s. Getting busy, looking good, we jamming, having a good time. If you was sweaty coming out of party, we knew you was jamming and had a good time. But if you was dry, you know, ain't no sweat on you, your pants and shirt ain't sweaty, we knew you was a wallflower standing on the wall. You wasn't getting no action. You ain't getting no phone numbers. You ain't going to eat with no pretty chicks nowhere. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so DC used to throw it on. I mean, matter of fact, well, I don't see the youngest dresser. They on, like he said, the ski mask and black. Uh, it's just a whole era, a new era. They don't cater to dressing no more. Not that I see with the youngers like we did it. You know what I'm saying? And you know, uh, I guess it's the sign of the time because the artists that these youngers look up to, they not dressing. So, half of the time you mimic what you see on TV. It was a time where hip hop started dressing, what I'm saying? Start throwing on suits and, hard bottom shoes and wearing silks and fabrics. We got out the sweatsuits and the jeans and t-shirts. So we followed suit. And that was hip hop growing up from being a teenager to young individuals. The women used to put on the in vogue dresses and the heels and so yeah, we used to do it. We used to do it for real. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm glad that he like spoke on that about our fashion, because it was real like that. And a dude that's really capturing the essence of the 80s and early DC when we was calling it the Chocolate City is a DC channel. I think he on Instagram called DC Decades. Uh, that dude is really catching the essence of what DC was back in the day. You know what I'm saying? And yeah. So go on Instagram and look my man up. I think his name is Tyreek or something, And he was a player in the game. He tell his story how he got shot, you know, and he was from Uptown, and Uptown had some real figures like Fat Rodney, who was a rapper and a heavy dude in the streets. I used to I hung out with him one night at we used to call it the Black Hole Celebrity Hall. Back then it done had a lot of names, where a featured uptown spot where the go-go bands used to play. But one night we was hanging out, Fat Rodney was out there freestyling, and DC Scorpio, who made the infamous Go-Go Hustler song. And this was around the time when the Go-Go Live video came out. And if you really if you really want to zoom in on the fashion of the 80s and 90s, 80s going into the 90s, go watch that Go Go Live video that was at the Capitol Center. All the go-go bands from Chuck Brown, EU, Red Essence, Backyard Band, DC Scorpio was on the ticket. Uh, all the rappers that was popping in our city, but we was mainly known for go-go, you know what I'm saying? So we was proud of Wale when he broke through as a mainstream rapper and didn't have go-go attached to him. You know what I'm saying? He was looked at as a real rapper because everybody here was like a go-go rapper, like DC Scorpio, Go-Go Lorenzo, uh, Stinky Dink, yeah, So these were go-go rappers, but when Wale broke through as a rapper, you know what I'm saying? You know, we was proud of him when he got his deal, and he really put DC on the map from a rap perspective, on a rap level. You know what I'm saying? You know, shouts out to Howard University TV. Angie Ange is the uh, coordinator and producer of that television station, WHUTV, something like that. But anyway, they were showing classic movies of Sidney Poitier and Diane Curl. And this is from the movie Paris Blues. So yeah, they really tapping into the vintage of our black cinema. And you know, Lena Horne was in that piece. They was just talking about Black Hollywood back in the day, how Lena Horne changed the game from being a glamorous black actress, her and Diane Curl, from the mammies and waiters and waitresses and the child care providers that we played in the movies back in the 40s and way back when. So when Diane, so when Lena Horne came on the scene, that was, very light skinned and high yellow, and beautiful. And then you had Dorothy Dandridge that came about, and yeah. So, all right, this your boy. This is in the 80s right here. At one of the go-go's. This your boy right here. That's how we was giving it up with the Fila. I've been wearing Fila since the 80s. Look at the EK glasses. You know what I'm saying? I had the Dob on. This how we was giving it up in the 80s. I had the Gore-Tex coat. I just put this picture up the other day because I came across it on my timeline. You know, this how we was giving it up. You know what I'm saying? EK glasses, about 300. The sweatsuit, 300. The coat, about 400. The Gore-Tex coat. You feel me? That's how we was giving it up. So you right. We was throwing it on right there. You know what I'm saying? Vintage right there. So, yeah. So, we done had some great times over the years, and I'm gonna say more great times than bad times, but the 80s was definitely an era of highs and lows because when you think about it, you know, crack was sold to our people and brought our people down. Even though people was getting rich and was having money, you know, Rayful was from Uptown. I lived on the southeast side by the Navy Yard. So we had our Rayful figures. But I think like Alpo in New York, Rayful was the flamboyant of DC all over that I knew about. He did it the biggest. Just like how Big Meech get revered in Detroit and how he did it. Shouts out to Big Meech coming home after doing his 30. You know what I'm saying? I love the way that he coming home to success legally. 50 Cent put his life story on the screen. Got his own son playing him, telling their life and their story, and it's legal. The feds can't come and bother him no more. They legit now. And I just hope he don't get crazy and miss what was, and get back into that lifestyle. Cause you don't have to. You on. You know what I'm saying? If he's smart, if he want the action, go ahead and get back into the music game and start BMF Records like you had, back before they pinched you guys. The world is yours. He had billboards in Atlanta. The world is yours, BMF. So stamp that BMF stamp again, you know. Don't let them people take 30 years of your life and then you go right back. Especially when you don't have to. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead and 50 Cent, he was a hustler himself, got in the music game, and if you look at it, Big Meech wanted out and he wanted to go legit. But he was too deep in the game, just like Rayful. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these dudes, they don't want to do what they doing. They don't want to be hurting people and killing people, but it come with the territory, you know. And Big Meech saw the future. He was like, look, man, let's get a number so we can get out and live our life. Let's give them people their time. We had a 20-year run, and you saw all that went on. That dude was shot a few times. He done shot jokers, you know, and lost a lot of comrades, and. So the streets don't love you at the end of the day, but you caught up once you in the midst of it. Once you see your friends shining and whatnot, and if you don't have a strong foundation to hold you down and keep your attention, like fortunately I did. My dad was a street dude, so I was afraid of him. So he had control of me, meaning you gonna go to school, you're gonna have a life. You're not gonna be out here. Then I had a grandmother that was spiritual. She gave me my spiritual side, even though I wasn't understanding it and embracing it then. But I know it was her prayers covering me with the incidents that I did get into and that I made it out of. Then my mother was my world. She said to me, I know what your friends doing, you know. Just know you don't have to do that. You know, you ain't got to give them people time out your life or get your life taken because we don't need nothing that bad. We got a roof, we got food, we good. We going to make it happen. Because one thing about it, in my family, we was a big family and we were very resourceful with each other. If somebody didn't have food, we were getting uh grocery bags of food together and take it to them. And then when they got on their feet, you help somebody else. So that's how we did back in the day. We took care of each other. Nobody lights was off. No, we didn't have big fancy cars and we wasn't the best dressers and we wore hand-me-downs. We didn't throw no clothes, no shoes away, because when you outgrew it, somebody behind you could fit them clothes. You know what I'm saying? Somebody could fit them shoes. So we ain't throw nothing away. You get me? So therefore, that's the structure that I come up under. And I'm going to talk about it every time I feel like it, because that's what I know saved my life. Because I had structure and plans. Me and my group of friends, we wanted to go to college. We wanted to graduate. We wanted to get good jobs. Some of us wanted to go in the military. So we had plans to do better and be better, other than what we was just seeing outside our door. Now, granted, we wasn't angels, but we had a plan. We had direction. People wake up every day and don't know what they gonna do within their day. They don't have no direction. They ain't got plans. And I say that to say, my friends that was getting it, they used to clown me. Why you working at McDonald's, getting that little check? You know what I'm saying? When you could be flossing with this knot, you know. I'm like, okay, y'all doing y'all thing. You the top dog. And that's another thing. I wasn't never pressed to be in the dude. I wasn't never pressed to be the dude. I was always in my lane because of my structure from home. I'm already confident. I'm already, what I'm saying? I've been groomed to do the right things. Even though I wasn't no angel, I got slick every now and again, but I had direction. I had a goal. And another thing to add to that, our mayor, Marion Burry, gave us opportunity with them summer jobs. So that helped us a lot too. Those of us that didn't want to be in the street. I ain't really get freedom to roam until I was 16, for real, for real. But my friends that were heavy in the streets, they started around 12. I had a curfew. I had to be in the house around 12. And so they was already early on getting money. And I say, whatever you do early on, you're gonna do it later on in life. So, so me touching money, some real money, like $200, that my moms didn't give me, that came from the summer jobs. That summer I made $800 from getting like what, 2, 4, 6, 8, 4 checks over that summer. I thought I was rich. Now I was touching $300-400 maybe a week from gambling, because I was a good gambler at the time, and I get my money off the guys that was, in the street heavy. And then they thought that they were good gamblers, and guys with money don't respect money. They'll fuck it up and throw it away, give it away, spend it on the women, flossing. So that was people like me, gamblers. That was our hustle, to hustle the hustlers. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on over here, give us some of that dough. You know what I'm saying? And then they trying to, we talking that talk. Oh yeah, I'm gonna take your little McDonald money. I'll come in the game with $100, and I leave about 600, so I'm 5 up. Not counting mine. You know what I'm saying? And I go to Georgetown like they doing and shopping. I ain't getting much, but I'm getting pieces. I learned how to piece my gear together. You know what I'm saying? When I used to get paid, I buy some shoes, I buy some jeans, some shirts, each pay. I couldn't do it like them. They go and buy a whole wardrobe for the month. I couldn't do it like that. I had to piece my pieces together. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it was for me. You know what I'm saying? And like I said, I looked the part. I was around the dudes that were really heavy dudes and whatnot, but I got slick a little couple of times, one time or another, but my focus was to graduate school, to go get a job, and I was vocational too. I was a brick masonry student in Phelps Vocational School. So I was learning a skill in high school to go get a job if I didn't want to go to college, which my grandmother made me go. She said, look, I know you don't want to go to college because I wanted to make money because we was fucked up. We just had enough for the essentials, no extras. And I got tired of wearing the hand-me-down clothes and shoes and whatnot. So I wanted to work, you know what I'm saying? And so my mother used to say, we don't need nothing that bad for you to risk your life or go to jail. We don't need nothing that bad. And luckily, I hung with a crew that had the same sentiments. We were athletes. We were trying to go somewhere other than just staying in the hood and dying in the hood. Like, okay, this is where our story started, but it ain't gonna end there or here. We had the same sentiments. We all was athletes. So we would talk about going to college, going pro. You know what I'm saying? Which didn't happen, but we had dreams. But we knew by getting involved in the game and getting yourself killed or locked up, getting a record, that would sidetrack all that. You feel me? So that's what kept us for real on the narrow. For real. Because we had plans. So therefore I'm trying to say if you don't have no kind of plan or agenda for yourself, you're going to be subject to just get into anything. And now you're going to be playing from behind because your lane that takes you further and going further, you done block that for yourself. So now you got to get them people time. You come out, and then when you go to jail, we don't know what that look like. Yeah, you with your crew, you good, but then they start separating dudes when they closed our jail, which was Lawton. So people start going different places. You don't know nobody. You may know a few people or whatever, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You know, you come in there, you may hold your own. You may link up with the right folks, but sometimes, and I guarantee somebody gonna test you, and you're gonna have to handle your business, or you're gonna be fooled. You're gonna be washing somebody's drawers. So if you make it out, it will make you not want to go back. And that's what I hope for everybody. If you hard headed and want to test the waters and go to jail, may you not want to go back. And I hope you don't have no bad experiences, but that's what jail is. It's confinement. Everybody is mad that they did, and anything could jump off at any time. So, you know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in no situation. But as kids, we fearless, and we don't care about the circumstances until we're in it. So again, I thank God that I had structure and uncles, and I did have a father, even though he wasn't rooted in the household, but I did have a father, and he was part of my life as much as he could. and he had enough hold over me to make me be in line and do what I needed to do, or it was going to be repercussions, and I didn't want that. So I'm thankful for that. So I say this to guys that that have kids and you ain't with the mothers, still be a parent, still be a father to your kids because they need you, especially the girls. The girls need to know what a man look like and what an abuser look like. You need to school your girls on what that mean and what that look like. And you can't do that if you're not in their life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the women that's not having success in their life is because they didn't have fathers to really talk to them and give them the game and information. Now, on the flip side of that, you can have your parents, your father, your mother, and if they squares, they can't teach you nothing other than the right things to do. But they can't give you the ins and outs of what the streets are like and the predators are like if they not privy to it. So I'm just saying, it's always something to learn on each side of the coin, the hood or upscale or middle class. It's always information to learn to how to survive the maze and the obstacles and the hunger game that's out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, yeah, we did put it on back in the day. So I'm glad he touched on that. And cause we did and we was putting it on, because DC, the youth had money in the 80s. You know, it was nothing, you know. I think the only regrets that people will have that they didn't save, they didn't invest. I mean, but what you investing in the 80s? It wasn't no crypto. We wasn't privy to the stock market. So that's why we bought cars and clothes and just blew the money. You know what I'm saying? It was some guys, I say maybe 5%, who took that money and bought homes, and they leasing property and they good to this day. You know what I'm saying? Only like 5%, because in school, they not teaching you about the stock market. They not teaching you finances. They ain't teaching you about investments. You know what I'm saying? You know, stuff that you need in the world when you get out there. Yeah, we need to know English, reading, and math, and everything else, but that need to be part of the curriculum as well, especially like a 11th and 12th grade type of deal. Or it could be vocational. You know what I'm saying? So I just feel the system is just set up that if you want that kind of information, you got to get it yourself. You got to seek it yourself. You know what I'm saying? And how many people in the hood know about that information? So I'm very proud of our youth now because time to change. A lot of kids are tech kids now. They up on the Bitcoin, they up on the technology, investing, the stock market. Our youth want to be fine. But I think this information should have been taught to my generation so we could have set our kids up, like the upscale people do. You know what I'm saying? You know, I remember back in the day that, I watched a lot of, families on TV. that were, you know, Caucasian, upscale, middle class. Every summer they would take their kids on vacation and teach them other cultures and stuff. You know, I admired that. So that's something that I try to do with my son, take him traveling, get him outside of DC, get him outside the country, get him a passport so we can see different things in different parts of the world. And I managed to do that, So I'm proud of where I come from, and I'm proud of where I am now. I done put in a lot of work from then to now. I done had multiple jobs, you know, and I ain't finished. I'm just 54. I can't retire till I'm 67. So I want all my money. I ain't doing nothing. I ain't leaving work early. I want all my benefits. You feel me? Because I work for it. I ain't leaving nothing on the table. I'm not that pressed to leave work to leave money on the table. I hear people talking about, yeah, soon as I can get out, I'm out. So hopefully you done did good with your money, because it's like it's another hurdle and obstacle that you gotta face when you retire. Because now you gotta give Uncle Sam your money before you touch your money, like a 401k, your thrift savings, your TSP, you know. So now the next level of shit to deal with, you know, I haven't heard of our IRAs until 3 years ago. That's where you put money into an account and they tax it, but you can't touch it till you retire. And once you touch that money, it's already tax free. I wasn't taught that. So I'm glad in my journey I meet friends and I'm seeking information and people talk to you and give you the game. Yeah. So nowadays the kids are on point. My son, older brother say, I'm retiring at 55 because I'm gonna be stacking now. I'm gonna put money in my IRA now. So by the time I hit 55, I'm gonna be set to retire. He might not leave, but he gonna be good when he do leave. Trust that. I love it. So what we didn't get, we gotta make sure this generation get. Those that made mistakes, we gotta help them kids get back on track. Sometimes you get tired of talking to you blue in the face, but just do what you can at the end of the day. Don't never help nobody to the point that is hurting you or is causing you pain. That ain't the way it's supposed to be. If I can't do it with a relaxed demeanor, I tell people, I tell family and friends, I don't get up every day to pay your bills. I don't get up every day to fulfill your dreams. That's your job. Like it was my job to fulfill my dreams and pay my bills. But people want to attach themselves to you when they see that you figured it out or you doing what you supposed to do, or they have a demeanor and an attitude. You got it. You supposed to. Like, nah, I ain't supposed to do nothing. Now, I'm never above helping somebody, but I gotta see you helping yourself. You just can't. You just not gonna be sitting on your ass doing the minimum and then think I supposed to assist you just because. No, because I tell anybody, especially family, nobody did shit for me. Cause wasn't nobody around to do nothing for me. They didn't have it. So anything of my desires and aspirations, I had to get off my ass. And I've done that. And I'm doing that. So when I see you bullshitting, I ain't got nothing for you. And that's real spill. So miss me with the bullshit. All right, I'm gonna close it like that, man. Y'all have a good Wednesday and Christmas coming up. You know, happy holidays to everybody. This big day, Street Finest, I'm gonna get at y'all. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe Rayful Edmond is dead. You know, he was getting off paper in 2025, and this is the way he want to start 2025. Now, if he's for real dead, I want to see a funeral, an open casket, you know. But may God rest his soul for the dirt and evil he's done. May he done repent it, and maybe he'll make it into the gates. Maybe not. I don't know. But let's see. Let's see if there's an open casket funeral. And if it's not, he's not dead, just like Alpo. I'm out. Peace. Streets Finest, Big Dave. I holla.